You're listening to The Alex Jones Show.
Big Brother, mainstream media, government cover-ups. You want answers? Well, so does he. He's Alex Jones on the GCN Radio Network. And now, live from Austin, Texas, Alex Jones.
Welcome back to the Alex Jones Show. I'm David Knight, and we've been talking to Gerald Celente, and we got to the top of the hour and had to take a break, but Gerald has graciously consented to continue because we wanted to hear what his solutions were. He was on a roll talking about the way we roll this back. We spent most of the hour talking about the problems. We need to hear about the solutions. Go ahead, Gerald. I wanted you to pick up from where you left off.
Yes, and putting these laws back in place so that we all have a shot at it and the multinationals don't own everything. You look at the stock market today, the rise. You know why it's going up? Because of all the merger and acquisition activity going on. That's right. That's all this has become. 50% of all the stock rise since they started quantitative easing back in 2009 has come from companies buying back their stock and M&A activity that is now beyond 2007 levels. So the third part of it is a self-sustaining economy. We are one of the richest nations in the world with our mind and our natural resources. You think we can make our own shoes, our own shirts, our own slacks? No. What we have to do is we have to offshore it so the multinationals could export the labor to slave labor markets and bring it back. We need to be a self-sustaining economy. Everything is in place except one thing, and that is we're being run and ruled by a bunch of low-life politicians. How could any self-respecting person look up to a little Lindsey Graham, a John Insane McCain, or out-of-a-mind Pelosi? Glad you're going, Reid, and a slimy Chuck Schumer. Name them, line them up, little Marco Rubio, Teddy Cruz, and now we just saw Rand Paul, as you pointed out. All of a sudden, he was against increasing the defense budget, and now he's increasing it. He was against foreign aid, and now he changed it. Oh, we'll give it to Israel. I don't want my money going anywhere other than the United States. The solutions are there, David, but they don't want to do it because all the, what they used to call bribes and payoffs, they put a white shoe boy name on it. They call it campaign contributions. Look at the dough that Hillary Clinton's gotten from foreign countries around the world. Look where the money's coming in from Jebby Bush. It's a sellout.
Absolutely, yeah. And it's not going to change because they've got so much power and so much money because they can just print the money, that it's become a massive black hole for corruption. I mean, this thing just keeps accelerating. It's like we've passed the event horizon and we're going in. I don't see how we stop this kind of corruption, this kind of power. I think that's the problem. There's just too much power in Washington. I think we've got to cut it off at the state level. What do you think, Gerald?
Well, absolutely. And that's why, again, we need a new third party. It's not even a two-party system anymore. It's a two-family system. I mean,
that's true. That's true.
I got to see another Bush and Clinton. I mean, my God, how could this happen? And where's the outrage? Where is the outrage? Where's the courage of the people? Where's the fighting back? And I don't mean physical. I mean intellectual. How could we let this happen? So, having said all that, I think 2016 is the perfect year for really something positive to happen. And I really believe this is the time for a third party more than any time I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah, absolutely. As you point out, we got one party and we got two families. That's really the political system we have at the top. But I think that there's some action. There's real fights going on over our rights in the state legislatures. Fights to push back civil asset forfeiture. Fights to keep us with informed consent. I think really that's where the fight's going to be. Thank you so much, Gerald Celente. trendsresearch.com and the publisher of Trends Journal. Thank you so much for your insights,
Thank you, David. Thank you.
We'll be right back, and we're going to be taking your calls in the next hour. 800-259-9231.
Used since before the days of the Roman Empire to support the body's natural systems. Introducing the new InfoWarsLife.com oil of oregano formulation. We have now procured the most high quality and potent forms of oregano oil on the market. Extracted directly from the wild herb and sealed in easy-to-use capsules. You will no longer need to endure the burning of liquid oregano on the tongue. Now available in our limited first run at InfoWarsLife.com. That's InfoWarsLife.com or call 888-253-3139. Alex Jones here. For the last 2 years, I've been working with top doctors, nutritionists, and chemists to design a nutraceutical formulation that has truly life-changing health benefits. Introducing the all-new Ancient Defense Herbal Immunity Blend. Experience the benefits of combining over 14 ancient herbs and extracts with exciting new advances in nutraceutical science. Visit InfoWarsLife.com or call 1-888-253-3139. That's InfoWarsLife.com. For all of recorded history, civilizations around the world praised the health benefits of silver. At InfoWars Life, our mission is to bring you the highest quality, purest, cleanest, effective colloidal silver on the market today for the lowest price available. You don't have to be a doctor to know. The fall and winter months are the most dangerous time of year in North America when it comes to you and your family's health. InfoWarsLife.com is very excited to announce our biggest run yet of Silver Bullet colloidal silver, exclusively available at InfoWarsLife.com. Now InfoWarsLife.com has taken colloidal silver to the next level using a cutting-edge technique that is free of toxic artificial additives. Now more than ever, it's important to stock up on high-quality Silver Bullet from InfoWarsLife.com. No survival chest is complete without Silver Bullet. Secure your Silver Bullet today at InfoWarsLife.com or by calling toll-free 888-253-3139. Silver Bullet. The experts are clear. Sunlight, purified water, healthy non-GMO food, and having a good attitude is essential to a healthy immune system. But I go further with Super Nascent Iodine X2 from InfoWarsLife.com. 50% stronger than our original and revolutionary Nascent Iodine formula, coming from a deep earth crystal source that no other supplier has. Most other forms of iodine come from seaweed in areas plagued by Fukushima and other contaminants. Not our iodine. It comes from over 200 million-year-old crystal salt deposits and is tested and proven to be completely pure. Visit InfoWarsLife.com today. See the informational videos. Read the information they're compiled. And for a limited time, when you use promo code NOW at checkout, you get an additional 5% off the entire family of InfoWarsLife.com products. Secure your Survival Shield X2 today at InfoWarsLife.com or call toll-free 888-253-3139.
Live from the InfoWars.com studios, it's Alex Jones.
Welcome back to the Alex Jones Show. I'm David Knight, your host, and we're going to be taking your phone calls at 800-259-9231. I want to go back and talk before we go to the calls about this situation in North Carolina where they were debating medical marijuana, because it concerns me so much to see Christians shut off their compassion for people talking about how this has helped them or their loved ones. Now, I talked about that in the last hour. What I did not read to you from is his justification for what he's doing. And he appeals to William Bennett, of all people, the man who first used the term czar to describe his office. That was given to him, I think, by others, but he proudly wore that title. And as I talk about marijuana, medical marijuana being a gateway to harder drugs, I've got to say that the war on drugs, if you haven't figured it out by now, over the last 40 years, has been a gateway to corruption. It's been a gateway to a police state. It's been a gateway to the loss of private property rights. It's been a gateway to having the largest percentage of people in prison of any country in history in America. That's the kind of country that we're creating because we don't have compassion, or because we think that the government can get our children off of drugs, that we can't as a family, that we can't as a church, that Christ has no power to change lives, only the iron fist of government. That's not being salt and light. That is just being a gun in somebody's face. You know, I'm reminded of the story, and there's been several of these stories, actually, I'm afraid. One in particular, a Maryland mother, she could not stop her son from using drugs. She was very concerned about it. So she turned her son in, had him put in prison. While he was in prison, he died from an overdose of drugs. And there are federal prisoners who are dying of overdoses of drugs in prison all the time. And let me ask you this. If you can get enough drugs to overdose on them in prison, then how are you ever going to stop it on the outside? Are we going to live in a panopticon prison? Well, that appears to be what they're happy to have us live in. And look at this story about corruption, just the latest example. A drug cartel funded DEA agent sex parties. And this is on USA Today. It was linked. Drudge had it up last week. And, of course, this is yet another example of a bunch of DEA agents who are having sex parties that the drug guys that they're supposed to be shutting down are providing for them. That's where we're headed with this. That's where this goes. But this is what William Bennett said in his book, and this is what Reverend Creech with the Christian Action League of North Carolina quoted. He said, "Medicine, like disease, is serious business. Its recognition, its use, its deployment, its method of delivery should not be determined by popular demand. No, we should not have that freedom to do that. We should have the men, or I should say the corporations and white lab coats telling us about that. We do that with no other medical treatment, not even over-the-counter non-prescription drugs. You see, they just go through, it's the men at the pharmaceutical companies, they tell us what is safe and what isn't through the AMA and through the FDA that they control. When you say that we do not have a right to take medicine, you also are saying that we do not have a right to refuse medicine. That's part of the debate that we're having right now in terms of vaccines. It's interesting, I think, that this is the 10-year anniversary of Terri Schiavo's death. It's happened just within the last couple of days. There's an article up on WorldNet Daily. And I got to say that one of the things about Terri Schiavo's death that really bothered me at the time was the death of compassion. The idea that a probate court judge could withhold food and water from somebody who's dying against the wishes of some in her family. It was a fight within the family, but I cannot understand any situation where you would withhold food and water from a suffering person. And of course, the Bush brothers had their fingers all over this situation. Either one of them could have shut it down. Jeb was governor of Florida. He could have shut down the order of this probate judge. Instead, they were arresting some Christians who actually were acting like Christians. They actually tried to give her a cup of cold water, and they were arrested for that. You know, Jesus said, many people I'll talk to in the last day and say, I was hungry and you gave me no food. I was thirsty, you gave me no water. You didn't visit me in prison. No, instead, we empowered the government to withhold food and water. We empowered the government to throw you in prison. Because what we do to the least of them, we do to Christ. That's the problem. The problem is a death of compassion. And I think something that really illustrates that is this story that came out in the last few days. It's a book that is talking about abortion to children. It's called Sister Apple, Sister Pig. The story follows Lee, and they say, we're not going to say whether that's a boy or a girl, Lee searching for his or her sister who might be an apple, who might be a pig, or who might be somewhere in the tree. Because, see, Lee is Papa and Mama's only child for now. Although there was once a sister, where does sister live? Well, she used to live in Mama. She doesn't live there anymore. She used to live before me, he says, but Mama couldn't keep her. Mama says she's now a ghost. Lee's Papa says, does that make you sad or scared? Well, I'm sad that my sister's a ghost. If you had kept my sister, though, you would be tired. You would be sad. You might be mad. because we would be wild and loud, and sometimes we would fight, and Mama might be scared that she could not buy enough food for us. Mama might not have enough time